Hey there, this is Matt from howtomakeiphoneapps.com. Today I want to show you how to use the UI text field control. UI text field, for those who don't know, is one way we have to enter text into our apps. So I'm going to just demo it real quick so you know what I'm talking about. So what I have here is a UI text field control, and I'm going to click on it and type in my Twitter name. And when I press return, my Twitter name is put into this UI label up here, which you can't see because it's transparent. But essentially, the idea is that UI text field it's just something you can use to input data. And it's simple to use, but it's not straightforward necessarily to right off the bat to see how it's done. So I'm going to show you how to use the code in my little code toolbox I use to keep track of little simple tasks like this. You may remember this from the ebook demonstration I gave earlier. I have all my code I use. I put in this code toolbox basically. So the first thing you need to do with a UI text field is you need to use this delegation pattern. And delegation essentially means that you're going to indicate to the system that your object or an object is going to act on behalf of something. And in this case, we want our UI view controller, which I'm calling text field for now, to act on behalf of a UI text field. So we have to implement the UI text field delegate, and you do that by typing this into it, the name of the delegate in between the greater than, less than signs. And you always put it after the name of the class. So this is the interface file for my view controller. I'm using this to demo the UI text field. Okay, so this is the view controller implementation. So just to do this part real quick, I just want to show you how I implemented the controls. I essentially put local instances of the label and a UI text field up here. And of course, it just means this will be a reference to a label, and this will just be a reference to a UI text field. In the viewDidLoad method, I went ahead and created these the label and the text field. And you do that in basic way. You can use Interface Builder to do this, or I use for clarity for these examples. I like to use code. So essentially, to make a label, you allocate an init. You assign a frame to it that positions it on the surface. You set the properties like text alignment, the label text that starts out with. Then you add it to the subview collection. You do the same sorts of things for the text view itself. The only difference really here is that you'll see that we assign the text field's delegate to the self, which means that this code you see here, which is the implementation of the subclass of UI view controller I called text field, is going to act as a delegate for our text field object we have as a collection of this UI view controller. So I mean, this is a common pattern. You tend to just use the overall UI view controller as the delegate. But you could also assign different objects to act on behalf of the text field as well if you want to do that instead. Down here is the delock, and this essentially releases the text field in the label. Now, this field here, this text field should return. This is essentially a delegate method. And this is going to be executed when you, as a user, or your user, touches the return button on the UI text view control. If you do not implement this and you do not include this message to reassign the first responder, you won't be able to dismiss the keyboard. Now there's actually some other delegate methods you can use as well. Like there is one that will execute when you start editing the text field. There will one that will execute when you begin to edit the text field. This is just an easy way to take this time to first of all not only dismiss the keyboard by sending the resign first responder message, but it's also a good time to either set the property to a model object, or here simply to set the property of the label text and display whatever this user typed in the control. So that's really it. That's how you use it. It's very simple to use in code. There are other ways to input text, but this is probably one of the easiest and straightforward ways. So just to go over it real quick again. So this is when the UI view controller is first created in the viewDidLoad method. Right now I'm just touching this, and now the editing has begun. You type some text in here, and when I press the return button, by clicking on the return button over here, that's when that method will fire. The text field did return method. That's what it's called. Text field should return. I'm sorry. Text field should return is fired then. And then the label gets assigned the name that we typed into the UI text field up here. So that's it. That's how you use the UI text field. That's also a taste of how you use the delegation pattern in iPhone programming. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you want more of this, go back to the blog at howtomakeiphoneapps.com.